Hey, what's up, y'all? Let me share something with the peoples a little bit. Let me share something with you. Listen. It's not about you or person raising themselves up. You see, raising themselves up from scratch and making things happen for themselves and they done the work. They was out here doing the work. Listen, I don't give a fuck. Listen, a motherfucker like me gonna love you negative, gonna love you positive. I'm just trying to say something to you. I'm just letting you know what's happening out here. You see, you too far up to see down here. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm saying. You see, you too far up to see down here. You ain't never came back down. You see what I'm saying? You ain't ever came back down where you came from. Listen, I'm not saying you haven't. Listen, let me pull that back a little bit. I'm not saying you haven't, but the door that you went through is a major negative. You got a major positive with two poles, a positive and a negative minors. But you went through the negative door with the negative and positive minors. You see what I'm saying? That's a whole motherfucking body. That's a whole motherfucking mansion. That's a whole motherfucking house. That's the house that you went in. And that house right there has destroyed our people for over 400 to 500 motherfucking years. You see what I'm saying? Just by support from other motherfuckers, from rich motherfuckers. You see what I'm saying? Who just trying to get that bag, who just trying to make things happen, who's putting out the work and all this other type of shit. Listen, it don't matter. It don't matter what type of entertainment business you in. It's about who you supporting. You see, it's about who you supporting and who got their name on your check. You see what I'm saying? Who got your masters? Who are all this type shit? I'm talking about motherfuckers out there that don't give a fuck about the things that you put out into the world. For children. You see? So just think about when you first had your favorite hit. Or whatever, you see, a best record of the motherfucking year. Just think all them motherfucking babies that ingested the shit that you were talking about. You see, the shit that you wouldn't even let your own children listen to. You see? Just think about it. Just think about how many people died just by listening to all this other type music that's in that same major negative house. You see? That's in that same major negative house. You see? You mean to tell me you don't know that you didn't feel trifling, filthy like a motherfucker? when you wearing these clothing and all this other type of shit, you didn't feel nasty and funky? You see? You didn't feel like, you know why you didn't feel like that? Because you in that motherfucking house where everybody love it. There's love inside of negativity. You see? If you don't believe me, ask the Ku Klux Klan. Shit. It's love inside of negativity. You see? But that negative major always rests itself down below. You see, rest itself down below. And down below is high in the motherfucker, because if you way up there, higher than people, a lot of people, millions of people, but you low to the major positive. So just think about the people that's under you. They must be in hell. So you reaping all your glory, all your wealth from hell. You see? From Heseton, from what they call Satan. That's where you reaping your shit from. You see? Now, mind you, it's a whole different body when you talk about Satan. It's a whole different body, different than what the Bible talking about. I'm talking about the real body. You see, I'm talking about a motherfucking spirit. You see, and it's a powerful spirit. It's a thick spirit. And it's this type of shit that makes you do the things that you do. You see, with your smiles and glee and happy and joy, because you're joyful. You're joyful. You're happy. You see, you happy in doing what you doing. You see, you happy in your negative shit. If I go around a whole bunch of motherfucking killers, you see, inside of that pool of killers, who's the killer? It ain't no killers. You see? It ain't no killers. All them motherfuckers are the same people. You see, they the same. Shit. They happy with each other, around each other. You see? You don't know. You don't know until somebody knock on your door and tell you. But one of the most beautiful things is you keeping your money right now, keeping your shit, keeping your status, but closing that motherfucking negative major and climb your ass up this other motherfucking ladder that's positive and see all these poor motherfuckers that's higher than you, and you got hella money and you got hella riches and all this other type of shit. But you're gonna see all these poor, broke motherfuckers, positive, real positive people, and you have more than them. And they always was above you, and you never knew it. That exists. Can you imagine? You get all your labels. Everybody all these famous people didn't stamp themselves with you. You see? But when you go to this positive major, you're going to see hella people that's stamped with the motherfucking universe. You see? They're going to be walking in grass and walking around with, like, barefooted and shit because they connected to the motherfucking earth. You see? They talking to the birds and the insects and the bees and shit. You see what I'm saying? You see? And they covered up because of the elements. You see? Here in this land, I'm not talking about over there in Africa where you can just wear your titties out all motherfucking day. You see? I'm talking about in this land where you get climate changes, you know what I'm saying, or seasonal changes. You see? Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm not saying nothing bad about you. I'm just trying to tell you something. There's a war out here. There's a war out here. You see? And it's inside of that house of major negative. You see, that major negative has an arrow pointed to indigenous people like myself, like you, and your children, and your husband if you're married, or whomever, your family, my family, everybody. You know what I'm saying? The arrow is pointed down to us. You see? So we can stay low. And they keep on putting all that poison inside of your head, telling you to make this happen, do this for the people. This is what the people want. All this other type of shit. You see? Just imagine you being a female and you say, fuck this. My great auntie liked to sew. My great auntie, she liked to weave clothing and weave quilts and shit. And you just open up a big ass motherfucking vocational center for women where they can learn how to sew, learn how to weave. You see? You know, learn how to make clothing. All that type of shit. What's wrong with that? When you start doing that, you start coming into this world of major positive. This is when that motherfucker who your ancestors called Christ, called Jesus, this is when you're going to see this major. You see, this major energy. And you might see him one day in human form. You see? Because you can't see him right now. You see? They can be talking to you face to face and you still won't know that it's that nigga that's talking to you. You see? But the only thing that can possibly be in your head is, fuck him. He's jealous. Fuck him. He's envious. You see? That's the only thing that possibly can be pop in your head. You see? Is that somebody is jealous or envious and all this other stuff. Ain't nobody jealous of that shit. How can somebody be, listen, ain't nobody jealous of that shit. I don't think about that shit. I don't have time to be. I'm letting you know that it's a war out here. And you just so happen to look like my peoples. You see? And so I gotta say something